That brings me to the next question. Registration process. When you move in as an expat, some countries the process is much more streamlined, much more easier. I can't say there's no waiting time. There is a process. It happens through the company's HR person or the relocation person comes into picture. But there is a streamlined process in India or in Dubai. Comparatively, how was the process of opening a bank account, getting a SIM card, or registering yourself in the hospital? Have you encountered any such instance where which you can share? And how do you, and which country's process do you find easier?
Oh, that's an interesting
Yes.
question. Because I don't know if I'm gonna answer it how you think I'm going to answer it.
For me, just very important that people know that the experience, like for me, my experience in Sweden, get the ID. The ID was connected to each and every process, and that took quite some time. Without that, you cannot have access to the Wi-Fi. You cannot get TV channels if you don't have the ID. That was a long process.
Never had that problem.
So in India, we don't have that. But opening a bank account right now, what I understand from a lot of expats, is a challenge in India.
I don't know. I think we came in on day 3 and opened a bank account. I had no issues.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I even was able to get my own account.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have the right documents, which they didn't tell us about until 4 years later.
Wow.
But I have to say I was rather spoiled with it comes to the SIM cards and when it came to our
Yeah.
bank account and everything. I never had any bad experiences. The hospitals were so easy to register. Well, I mean, as long as you carry your passport to do that stuff, it's
Okay.
very easy. In Dubai, the same thing. Actually, I had a harder time in the US getting in appointments and, like being understanding what was going on. Like it was crazy there. But here, so I feel it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you never noticed that, okay, there is a queue which is more like this, not like that? Some expats, they really come to me being an Indian, they say, like, how come you guys don't have a queue for anything? And I said, like, yeah, our queues look quite different. I understand. Yeah, I mean, if I want to be at the reception and want to make a payment or say that, hey, I have an appointment, but the queue there is really, it's invisible. But there is no queue system. And she was quite frustrated with the hospital like that. That's why I asked, okay, how has it been in your experience?
I don't know.
After that.
Just remember there's no personal space.
Yeah, like personal space.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think the hardest time I've had in a queue ever in India was at a Starbucks. Of all places, because it was during lockdown when we still had to wear our masks and we had to stay so many feet apart. You know how they put the feet in the stores, you have to stand here, here, here,
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of thing. Okay, well, this was at Starbucks, and here come these couple of, young gentlemen.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Okay.
And they just come and stand right in front of me. And excuse me. And the barista saw what they did, and she came out and told them, "No, you go back here."
I never came across anybody doing that for me.
And also, I think I don't know, not being racist or anything. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Having white skin,
Yes.
I almost feel like they want to help me before they help someone else. So I don't feel like I've had that same experience. Yes, it gets crowded. Yes, there's those queues and there's a lot of people in India in a small space. You're gonna expect it,
I
right?
think in India, the expats stand out.
Yes.
Their visibility will be like different, right? And for my husband as well, with my personal experience that we went to a bank and the person really was prompt and came to greet my husband and shook hands like, "Good morning, sir." And then she didn't look at me as if I was invisible, right? But that happened so many occasions, not occasion. So even there, the guy will really there, then they will misuse and charge more to the white skin.
Yes.
And then these happen. But yeah, these instances of expat in India is quite different. It's not like that in Dubai, right?
It's taxis. It's all taxi.
There's no such service like only for a white skin
No.
expat. You just can't see it, right?
No, actually, Dubai was very good with not necessarily, they don't pick people out by color or skin or anything, ethnicity, nothing like that. They choose to divide things by families. So if they see a couple traveling together, they've got to follow the normal processes. If they see a pregnant woman, and if they see a family with a lot of young kids, then they usually will try and make extra efforts to get them to the front of the line or to move them through. So that way, like there's a great importance to them of
An
family.
excellent way. That's an excellent service, right?
I noticed that from the beginning and really appreciated the efforts that they put. And yeah, there's still the whole woman card, and then the general population cards and everything like that. But again, that's just one of those cultural things that you go in and this is the way it is. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the way it is. That's their culture, that's the country, and it's nothing being bad about it. What you feel like what you came from. No, this is where you are now.
But at least they notice as to who is what, right? The priority based on pregnant lady or some kids or elderly person.
Yep.
With that said, how has it been for you as an expat when there's so many uncertainties, right? So choosing a school, moving at a short notice, or probably moving out after 5 years. I think that is as well a challenge, right? That is, in all of that, the mental and physical health is impacted.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has it been with you? Have you found some strategies to cope up with that?
Connect with people that with interest, the same interest, because then your community will grow more. So to say, for instance, I love boxing. Like I have found boxing in India. If I had found boxing 20 years ago, that would have been
Champion.
my profession, right? Profession.
And you have been a champion and you would be sitting here, right?
But boxing has become pretty much my life. I box 4 days a week. And I feel going to Colombia, that is the most important thing for me to find for myself. And the most important way I feel like I will be able to connect with the local culture there for myself and the people, and is just going and finding a boxing coach, a boxing gym, and just getting into it that way. I think that that's the best way to acclimate to a culture, is to find something you're interested in.
That's more for you. And how about the kids?
The kids will find it in school and the sports that they do the same thing with their interests.
But when you're moving against them, I'm sure the kids are very much part of the decision, right? We're moving here and this is going to be a new home. Whether you like it or not, okay, we'll have to move. This is something that in process of, okay, a couple of days before we start talking about it, and then they will question, there will be interactions. And that must be the case, I think, right? Or not. Because now that your kids are they're more teenage.
Yeah.
So then the conversation is, I think, easier.
For now, I think it's easier. They're more accepting, like, and they're in different ways. Like they, of course, don't want to leave their friends. It's very hard for them.
Yeah.
And you still going into a different country, no matter how many countries we've been in, if you've not been to the country you're moving to, there's still the stereotypes that are there.
Yeah.
And those stereotypes can be scary still, and much of like when we were moving to India, now we had those stereotypes and not all of them were changed. Some of them are valid stereotypes. But you have to look past that and you have to see the beautiful culture that is there. And I know Colombia has it. India has an amazing culture. It's been, changed my life spiritually. And personally, I feel like I'm a better person. And this is where I learned how to be more, show empathy. I feel that has grown with me, my biggest personal change. Yeah, I think it just depends on the person. But whenever I hear someone struggling, I try to figure out what they're struggling at and then point out, look, I understand this is hard. It was hard for us too, and it still is sometimes 4.5 years later. But there's these things that you can look for. And the community, just bring yourself together with the community and you'll be happy. Don't hide.
Because I think sometimes I do see some expats, spouses who are really introvert. And even if you're an introvert, you still have your ways of coming out, connecting with people, and being part of the community, and also being there for your family. But sometimes it's they don't want to probably mingle in a larger group. That's what I see. They want to probably just take their time. And then even if they didn't take time, if you just said, no, I'm not too sure how that's going to help, come out and connect with people, right?
I mean, why move to another country
That's true.
and not take the opportunity that life has just thrown at you and embrace that country and everything about it?
It's a unique opportunity that
If you're afraid, I mean, it's because you're afraid. You know, like someone I was talking to the other day, I don't remember who it was, but we were talking about you go into these countries, especially in our case, where maybe you don't know the language. You don't know what to expect. Even going to a grocery store, you don't know the process when you walk into the grocery store and, do you have the trolley that you get and push it around? Do you have to weigh your vegetables and fruits first before going up to the front? And then that interaction, if you're not used to the language that's there, am I gonna have to interact? So just that timidness will prevent most people actually from doing things and going out. So to have the relocation companies there, you should use as much as you can to that, to your advantage and be like, look, I'm not comfortable doing this. Can you come with me?
Yeah.
And just have someone there to help you through these processes of what you're initially afraid of. But once you start getting out there and doing all of that, then you will start growing and seeing things in a different way. And I think that's so important, is that you want to see things in different ways.
Yeah. I know what's happening your next journey, right? You're moving to Colombia. You're already there, preparing a bed for it. But professionally, are there anything that you plan to do? Personally, no, but professionally, how do you manage to keep your identity as a business consultant? Your passion about photography, your passion for indeed helping new startups with their brand as a brand consultant. How that must be hard. That must be hard to know that you can give so much, but
Yeah, I mean, moving to Colombia, still as it was in Dubai, as it is here, as it will be there. I'm on that where it says not allowed to work visa.
Yeah.
But I'm there to respect the country's kind of rules.
Yeah.
And I'm not there to bend them.
Yeah.
Anything like that. I would love to pay taxes.
Yeah.
If they give me the opportunity
Yeah,
to just do my own thing from home as I'd like. But that's just not how it works. So how I find ways, I think because I just love helping in general. I love making processes easier. Like if I see the same questions coming up, or someone constantly not someone, but multiple having problems with, say, being able to open their bank accounts, then it's all up to me. Like I would write a presentation of this is the easiest way to do this, right? Because I've been through this and this is how I did it. And then it can be sent and make everybody else's lives easier. That's what I try to do. I just try to stay busy with what I'm good at. Volunteering or just helping. I stick my nose into everything.
I think volunteering is a very good opportunity to really utilize your time. At the same time, that gives an opportunity to connect with the local culture. I think so.
I didn't do so much in India as I should have. I don't know, I can't really say why, but my volunteering, I helped a lot of expats.
Yeah.
That's kind of where my passion went to.
Yeah.
Was organizing parties and celebrations so we could keep celebrating ourselves, and going into the PTA at the school and being really like trying to open up their mind to other ideas and creative things that we can do in the school to include parents more.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't do very much for community of India itself, but more with the expats.
I mean, that's good enough. I think so.
Well, I think a lot of the language barrier stopped me a lot from feeling comfortable to be able to help more. Just because I go in if I wanted to help an orphanage or something like that, and I know I wouldn't be able to openly communicate or
Yeah.
be who I wanted because I can't speak the language, and that's on me that I didn't take the opportunity to learn the language. And I never get upset for someone who can't speak English when I'm in their country, right? Like that's why am I gonna get upset? It's my fault I don't speak your language.
That's a good way. That's a good way of looking at the situation, right? Because it's not easy to look or think like that.
Yeah.
That mindset. It's difficult to come to a country, non-English speaking country with that mindset.
Yeah.
And that becomes one of the barriers, really big time to settle down, to adapt, being culturally integrated. It's very difficult.
It can. So that's where I think it's important to find your community.
As part of cultural integration, any funny cultural aspects that you encountered in the way and in India, every time you think of it, that you can still laugh about it. In India, I'm sure there are many, the head wobble or you
I
know,
mean, I learned my head wobble the second weekend.
I've never seen you use that.
No, you did. You caught me the other day. You're like, you do this
No.
now?
But there are different kinds of it, right? And the fact that the cultural integration part is. I know that you try to speak Hindi words to the rickshaw.
Yeah, but he just didn't understand you, right? Where else you just tried to speak some Hindi words?
Well, in the store, like just saying, I think the biggest word that they didn't understand out of what we
Yeah.
tried to do was saying "dhanyawad." Aha. Thank you is not used.
It is.
It's used, but thank you. They say thank you.
Yeah,
we don't-
Dhanyavad. No,
yeah,
not many people
yeah.
use that. Did you also try something like that in Dubai?
No,
Uh-huh.
but we didn't have to. Dubai was dominantly English.
Yeah?
Yeah. And India, for the most part, has been dominantly English. I didn't have too hard of time. Funny wise, not too much. The head wobble, yeah. Oh my gosh. But that's what I learned. It's kind of cute, huh? There's like 10 different head bobbles depending on what you're saying.
One and then, but that means really different. Okay, what you just did. This was really. That was like, okay, come, let's go. That means that.
But for me, it's the holidays in India.
What about it?
Navratri and Diwali and all of so many holidays every week.
Literally, but the costume, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you really want to go
Beautiful.
big out, celebrate, you need different costumes. And then when you look at the stores and you feel like buying them, but then realizing, I'm not gonna wear that after 5 years.
I did see that a lot, that mentality a lot. Like we have to have 3 different outfits for the weddings because they on one day weddings are many days, right? So 3 days sometimes. The
Yeah,
weddings.
4 days, 5 days.
Yeah. So sometimes a different outfit for every day because they already saw me in this outfit, but you can't wear it to another wedding either because it could be the same people and they already saw. I saw that mentality a lot, yeah. But it's okay. You always end up with something new. But yeah, for me in India, I love how there's regions, and in every region, the clothes are different, the dances are different, the music is different, and that experience can change no matter where you travel in India. The languages are different. How many languages you have in India? A lot.
21?
21 languages.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
A lot.
a lot. To me, that's like mind blowing to me. Like how small really India is, but how big and large and wide the cultures are. I love that. I love that about India. I fear that India is going to lose a lot of it.
Really?
As you become Western.
Uh-huh. Coming from a Western person, wow. I mean, I hope not.
I hope not too, really, because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But you think about the younger generation, and it's harder and harder to get them to know the dances, to know Sanskrit. You know, like
That's true.
there's a lot of
Cultural aspect.
cultural history that is being lost as India westernizes.
That's true. Something to think about. Any message that you would like to kind of give to the expats moving to another destination, maybe Dubai, maybe India, or in a similar path, like somebody who has been in a profession for quite some time and would have to now take up and join the family, support the husband in this. How would you tell them that, okay, this is not scary, it does look scary?
It is scary. It is scary, but just think about the opportunity, and I've said it, and previously. Just think of the opportunity that is being provided for you to become a global citizen. Learn about cultures, learn about the struggles that are happening, and then being able to take that and try and make a difference. And it's okay if you don't want to do that either, but being more accepting of, the places that you're going. Be respectful of the people and the countries that you're being into. I think that's one of the biggest things, is being respectful. Don't get so annoyed and frustrated because you're used to something working a certain way, and it's not working that way in the country that you're in. It's not going to be the same everywhere. And yes, it may work perfectly in your country, that certain, process.
Yeah.
But in that country that you're going to visit, it works perfectly for them.
Yeah.
So just embrace that.
We have to change that.
Yeah.
We don't have to change it. No. We can.
And don't be that spoiled expat. Don't be the person that comes in and gives the reason for the locals to look at you like you're an expat. You're making things more difficult for us because you're wanting to change this, or because you're not bargaining. Then the vendors don't want to work with us anymore because this is part of our culture. You're coming in and not doing this.
Yeah.
And, so I think it's just about respecting the culture that you're going to and not trying to change it to fit what you're used to.
Although we covered quite some points, I've got one point. Yeah, and I think it's quite an important one. How difficult is it for our husbands to come to an expat country as an expat? For them, I wonder sometimes, how is it for them to just the work culture? We have our own challenges, and their challenges, I think, quite different than ours. Although they have the same setup, same community.
I think it's important to remember, at least in our relationship, his friends are not going to be your friends, and your friends are not going to be his friends in most instances, because his friends are going to be who he works with.
Yeah.
And their culture is different because they think, and their whole mindset is different, as far as they're more closed in into what they're doing. They don't always see the big picture and what's going on. Whereas our friends, we're always going out, we're experiencing more, and what we talk about is going to be different than what his friends talk about. So yeah, I think that's hard. I may not be the same for all relationships, but I know with ours, that's how it is.
We say we have to label some relationships, right? And acquaintances probably is one of them that you can maybe put them. I think so.
Yeah.
Not friends.
Not friends, yeah. Acquaintances. You know them, of them. You don't know them, you know of them. Yeah.
I really, really wish you all the best for the next adventure in Colombia. To you and to your family, I really hope you settle down well with all this experience that you have gained. And India being the most adventurous, I think so, by far. That you really go to Colombia very confident, and then you find your again new circle again for kids and for yourself. I hope to see you there maybe. Yeah, if you invite me, I'll come.
At least halfway. Yes. But thank you for being a part of my life and part of the best part of me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And is there a possibility that if somebody would like to connect with you
Any questions?
and share your social handle, then I hope that people really have a lot of things to learn from your journey.
Yeah.
And then
So my Instagram is @visible by Sandra.
there it is. Visible, I'll mention it.
With an S, not a Z.
Oh yeah.